Let's continue talking about trust. Remember, trust is built. So there are some measures and things you do, and every one of those pieces build a little bit of trust, establish a little bit of trust. And we need to combine and do as many of those things as possible to establish a very good degree of trust. Last time we talked about getting organized, and being prepared, and how that establishes some degree of trust. Another thing that we can do is to care about the business, care about the nonprofit or the customer that you're working with. When we care about them and we show that we actually care, so just like don't care about a business in your heart and you don't show that. You have to show that you care with the words that you say, with the actions that you do. That way, it gets delivered. That message goes to them that you actually care about the business. So there are some things that one can do to make sure that we actually care and to also deliver that message to our partners and customers that we do care. The first one is to do business analysis. You don't care about a business if you're not trying to understand what they're doing. And as part of being organized, we would do the research prior to meeting with them, studying the business as much as possible before meeting with them. But after we actually meet with them, this is the part where we do business analysis. We learn about the business, we learn about the users, the user journey, the impact. What are they doing? What did they do in the past? How did they improve? What are the pain points that they are facing right now? What are the expectations? What are their plans? Where are they heading? Who are their partners? All kinds of basically discovery questions that typically we ask in order to think about the design. So we're collecting these information to write down user stories from which we can write requirements, from which we can design the solution, which is good. But we need to accompany all of that with the care element. We need to deliver. It shouldn't just come across that we're thinking about a technical solution and that's it. But showing interest in what they are in what they are actually doing. If I may just like give an example here, maybe you ask about certain programs that they run, and one of them is animal welfare, or maybe helping hospitals, or like helping people with cancer, things like that. So like that might be enough to build a solution, but talking a little bit about their impact, which is not going to help us with the technical solution, but it's going to help us earn their hearts a little bit. If you talk about how genuine it is, sometimes one thing I do outside of the actual work that I do with a customer is to follow them on LinkedIn, follow their activities, maybe attend some of their events, and just show them support, like be there kind of thing. So it's not just, like like if you deliver the message that I am here just to get this solution for you, and then we're done. If this is the vibe or this is the feeling that they get, then you lose trust. That's the exact opposite of what we are trying to do. The message that we need to deliver is that we care about this business, we care about the impact, and we need it to sound like we'll try to be as genuine as possible. But it is important that it comes across genuine. It comes across that you actually care, and hopefully you actually care, not just like pretending that we care. So like when they feel that you actually care about the business, then you establish that trust. And then we talked about the benefits of trust in the previous video. One of the things that are helpful to do, and it's one of the results of learning about the business, and one of the results of researching the business, and one of the results of your experience as well as a Salesforce consultant, or if you have worked with similar customers in the past, is to speak their minds. Sometimes the customer has a problem or a pain point, and sometimes they don't know what it is, and sometimes you could figure out what the problem is from the experience, from the previous knowledge, and you tell them what the problem is. They're going to accept that. They're going to agree with you. They're going to like what you just said, because you expressed what they couldn't express. They said what they maybe they wanted to say, but they couldn't say. Sometimes they would say the problem, but maybe they would not explain it properly, and then you would explain to them the same thing. You're just saying the same thing that you're saying again, with additional context, with additional insights, which helps clarify their position. So it makes it appear that you are with them. It's like you are one of them explaining the problem that we are facing. So it comes across like, here is our pain point, not like what is your pain point, but rather what is our pain point. I think, like I was planning to say this point last, but maybe this is the time to say it. Generally, you want to speak with the keywords we and us and together, instead of you and I. So like we are not two opposites on the table, but rather we are together on the table. We are together in the same boat. We are together on the same mission, where we are trying to achieve the same impact. So it needs to come across that we do that. And one of the things to do is to use we and us and together as much as possible. So you shouldn't be the person doing the technical solution, and you don't care about the business side, and they shouldn't be the people just like doing the business and not caring about the technical side of things. It has to be both of them together. You don't have to like understand 100% of what's going on with the business, and they don't have to understand what 100% of what's going on with the technical side. But when there is some mutual ground of understanding, this helps this conversation become that we are trying to achieve this. It helps communicate things better. It's which makes us move to one other point, which is enablement. Whenever you build something, or whenever you suggest something, it's my philosophy to explain to the customer a little bit about this, why I am suggesting this, why I think this would be a good idea, why I think this would be a good idea for us, how we can do this, what are the implications of such a decision or such a solution, implications or consequences such as the cost and the budget and the same thing, and the timeline, the effort, the impact of the users, the ease of use, the ease of maintenance, the how soon we can roll it out, how many users we can roll it out to, things like that. So when you enable them and when you teach them about these solutions, you're not going to teach them everything, but at a high level, or just a little bit of information here and or there, it helps them understand what you're doing. When you help them understand what they are getting themselves into, then they are more likely to trust you. You're not just like throwing a solution at us, but rather you are educating us, you are teaching us what this solution is for, and it helps them make a decision. It did happen, like I've seen it before, where customers would make decisions without knowing much, and then later they end up knowing some information, and then they realize that this was not the best call, this was not a very good idea. And who to blame? Partially it's going to be the person who suggested that solution without explaining much about it. So enabling them, teaching them, helps them trust you more, and then helps them make a decision. And also it helps communicate. Later on, you can communicate so much better about these solutions. One of the things that whenever it happens, it's gonna be like an immediate boost in trust, and that is when you do not try to sell them something, or maybe like it's the exact opposite when you suggest that they do not move with a particular thing or a particular tool. So an example would be they are considering Salesforce, and then maybe you tell them like Salesforce is not the tool for you. So I know salespeople wouldn't typically say that, but I would if like if it's not a good option for the business at this time, then you would say this is not what I think this is not the right thing to do for our business at this time. Maybe after some time. If for whatever considerations, maybe it's budget considerations, maybe it's just there's some other tool out there that is easy to use. They don't have many users yet. They're just starting out. Things like that. There are some considerations where we would say maybe Salesforce is not the right tool for you. Or maybe some other tool, like they're trying to integrate some other tool with Salesforce, and then you would say, I do not like. I think there is like a native solution that we can use instead of having to use a third-party tool, and then like you evaluate the cost of a custom build versus a native connector with a third-party software, or maybe a third-party software that is free, or maybe cheaper, or offering more value. Or that something that you can think of that in the long run you're going to need this additional feature. So don't go with X product and instead go with Y product. My point here is that when you say that this is not the right thing to do, even if it's gonna cost you, you might, like I'm a Salesforce consultant, and it's best that I encourage people to use Salesforce so that I get to do more work. But when you say that Salesforce is not the right solution, I think Salesforce is not the right solution for you. Maybe you are too small, and I suggest that you start with probably Excel sheets, just like for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And then there is that like donor CRM that you can get started with maybe for a few months. And then maybe down the line after 6 months or so, it would be a good idea to migrate to Salesforce. Perhaps, I mean, like I'm not saying this is the way to go, but it might be one of those ways to go. When you say something like this, it means you are losing, but the business is growing. You're saying this for the sake of the business. When you say that, you immediately earn a boost of trust. When the time comes that and they need a Salesforce resource, you are one of the first few people that they are going to think of. And even if they don't ever need Salesforce again, and they talk to people about like some other person, and it came up in some other conversation in the future about Salesforce, they will recommend you because trust and working with someone who is honest is one of the things that people appreciate and people don't simply forget. So saving them costs like is another thing that we can do. For example, if they don't need that expensive tool and there is some other tool that is more budget friendly that you know of, or maybe you helped them research, help the business save the cost. They appreciate when you help the business save the cost. Selecting the tools that they need and not just like the tools that were sold to them. Like you got Pardot. Do you need Pardot? You got 123 Form Builder, or maybe FormStack, or maybe DocuSign. Do you need these tools? Like these are amazing tools, but the thing is, like it's not the tool, it's the need. Like the need comes first. Do you need this? If you need it, then and that comes after discovery. From discovery, we realize what the needs are. From the needs, we know what tools we need to get. Not the exact opposite. Like there is this fancy tool that we saw and we like, and like it's appealing, it's beautiful, it does flips, and it does stuff. So I mean, that's not how we should get nonprofits and customers to pay money, but it's rather the need. When there is a need, then we suggest solutions. So like maybe that was just a lot to say, but maybe I would brief it and I would say try not to be a salesperson. I mean, salespeople are good people for the sales cycle, but um, I'm not sure. Like I'm not a very good salesperson, and I don't like to sound pushy, and I don't like to sound salesy. And from my experience, they immediately tell. Like customers immediately tell when you're trying. Pretty much everybody does that when you're trying to sell them something. Um, Most of the time they immediately retreat and they feel like they are being pushed to what they don't need to. Just that feeling alone might discourage them and makes them a little bit conscious and cautious of what you're suggesting. So it needs to be the exact opposite, which is finding what their needs are and suggesting tools based on these needs. So this is just a quick conversation on caring about their business, trying to save them costs, trying to suggest what's helpful for them, finding out what the pain points are, what the needs are, speaking with we and us and together, instead of talking about yourself and themselves as if we were two separate entities. We'll talk about other items that affect trust in future videos. Thank you.